The Senate will come to order. Senator Woods.
Thank you. Colleagues, staff, guests in the chamber and the gallery, would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Majors, please call the roll.
Senators Aguilar,
Excuse.
Balmer, Baumgardner, Carroll, Cook, Crowder, Donovan, Garcia, Grantham, Guzman, Heath, Hill, Hodge, Holbert, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalas, Kerr, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Martinez Jimenez, Merrifield, Neville, Newell, Roberts, Scheffel, Scott, Sonnenberg, Stedman, Todd, Hewleberry,
Excused.
Woods. Mr. President,
Here. With 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Martinez Jimenez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the reading of the Journal of February 20th be dispensed with and the Journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. That motion is adopted. The Journal is approved. Senate Services.
February 24, 2015, correctly engrossed Senate Bills 8, 93, and 101. Senate Joint Resolution 9, correctly re-engrossed Senate Bill 97, correctly revised House Bills 1074, House Joint Resolution 1013.
Message from the House.
February 24, 2015, Mr. President, the House has passed on third reading and transmitted the advisory statute, House Bill 1137.
Message from the Reviser.
February 24, 2015, we herewith transmit without comment House Bill 1137.
Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 186 by Senator Woods concerning the exemption of yoga teacher training from regulation under statutes governing private occupational education.
Senate Bill 186 is assigned to education. Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege to present a tribute.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is one of them rare days that we have a privilege here that's just unsurpassed. What we'd like to do is present the congratulations, commendation to Colorado. Oh, excuse me, sir. Moment of personal privilege, please, Mr.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You are granted a moment of personal privilege.
What I'd like to do today is, extend a commendation to the Colorado Registered Nurses. And I'm going to just read one line out of it that is so important to me. Colorado nurses are the cornerstone of the state complex health care system, representing the largest single component of health care profession, with an estimated 50,000 registered nurses in the state. These people are vital to us. We have a number of them visiting here today, and I'd like to present this to them with our most warm welcome to the Capitol as well as Denver. I would like all the nurses here to stand, plus in the gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Denver. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Crowder, and welcome to the Capitol. Third reading of bills. Mr. Majors, please read the title of Senate Bill 101.
Senate Bill 101 by Senator Balmer and Representative Pabon concerning the authority of employers to pay wages to employees electronically.
Senator Balmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move Senate Bill 101 on third reading and final passage. Ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion? Are there any no votes? We are on third reading, colleagues. Senator Carroll is a no vote. Senator Heath, Senator Kerr, Senator Jones, Senator Donovan, Senator Hodge, Senator Johnston, Senator Todd, Senator Kafalis, Senator Merrifield, Senator Garcia, Senator Stedman, Senator Guzman. Further no votes. Senate Bill 101. With 20 ayes, 13 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 101 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader. Senator Lundberg. Senator Woods. Senator Baumgardner. Senator Scott. Senator Lambert. Senator Crowder. Senator Neville. Senator Cook, Senator Holbert, Senator Grantham, Senator Hill, Senator Marble, co-sponsors, Senator Martinez-Humanic, Mr. Majors, please read the title to Senate Bill 8.
Senate Bill 8 by Senator Roberts, Representative Hill concerning the promotion of water conservation in the land use planning process and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Senate Bill 8 on third reading and final passage.
Is there further discussion? Are there any no votes? Senator Baumgardner, Senator Neville, Senator Woods, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Lundberg, Senator Marble, Senator Scott, Senator Lambert. Further no votes. With 25 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 8 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Kafalis, Minority Leader Carroll, Senator Heath, Senator Merrifield, Senator Donovan, Senator Garcia, Senator Todd, Senator Johnston, Senator Stedman, Senator Newell, Senator Crowder, co-sponsors. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 93?
Senate Bill 93 by Senator Sonnenberg and Representative Becker J. concerning compensation to be awarded to owners of mineral interests for diminution in the value of their property rights caused by regulatory restrictions on mineral extraction operations.
Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Senate Bill 93 on third reading and final passage.
Is there further discussion? Are there any no votes? Minority Leader Carroll, Senator Heath, Senator Merrifield, Senator Kafalis, Senator Jones, Senator Kerr, Senator Todd, Senator Hodge, Senator John, Senator Johnston, Senator Garcia, Senator Donovan, Senator Newell, Senator Guzman, With 19 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 93 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Majority Leader Scheffel, Senator Marble, Senator Lambert, Senator Baumgartner, Senator Scott, Senator Holbert, Senator Grantham, Senator Woods, Senator Cook, Senator Neville, Senator Crowder, Senator Lundberg. Further co-sponsors. Please have the President. For you now. Pat Stedman. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 1074? House Bill 1074. I think I'd know that from the extra number.
House Bill 1074 by Representative Vigil and Senator Crowder concerning the liability of an individual member of a board of county commissioners in a legal proceeding in which the board is found liable.
Senator Crowder,
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 151074 and ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
is there further discussion on House Bill 1074? Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1074 is adopted. Co-sponsors. It's because it's a House bill. Mr. Majors, please read the title of Senate Bill 61.
Senate Bill 61 by Senator Holbert and Representative Everett concerning the non-applicability of disclosure requirements under Colorado law governing campaign finance in the case of certain issue committees that raise relatively small amounts of money.
Senator Holbert,
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 61 on third reading and final passage.
is there further discussion on Senate Bill 61? Are there any no votes? Minority Leader Carroll, Senator Heath, Senator Jones, Senator Kafalis, Senator Johnston, Senator Merrifield, Senator Donovan, Senator Guzman, Senator Garcia, Senator John, Senator Hodge, Senator Todd, Senator Newell, Senator Stedman, Senator Kerr. Further no votes. With 18 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 61 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Grantham, Senator Hill, Senator Neville. Co-sponsors. Senator Lundberg, Senator Lambert. Last call. Please have the President. Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having voted on the prevailing side of Senate Bill 93, move for consideration. Reconsideration.
Reconsideration is up for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 93 will be reconsidered. Mr. Majors, please read the title to Senate Bill 93.
Senate Bill 93 by Senator Sonnenberg and Representative Becker J. concerning compensation to be awarded to owners of mineral interests for a diminution in the value of their property rights caused by regulatory restrictions on mineral extraction operations.
Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since it didn't work so well on that side, I'll stand on this side and move Senate Bill 93 on third reading and final passage.
Way to reach across the aisle. Is there further discussion on this bipartisan motion? Anyone? Are there any no votes? Minority Leader Carroll. Senator Heath. Senator Kafalis. Senator Jones. Senator John. Senator Johnston. Senator Garcia. Senator Merrifield. Senator Guzman. And your friend, Senator Donovan. Senator Hodge. Senator Todd. Senator Newell. Senator Kerr. Further no votes. Anyone? This is it. With Senator Stedman. With 18 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 93 is re-adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Baumgardner. Senator Marble. I think we've already got you. Senator Cook. You're already on. If you've already done this we're going to not do again. Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, before we head into seconds, I just wanted to do a couple of quick announcements. All of you have been wondering about the schedule given our snow day of yesterday. We're going to go into seconds here shortly. When we get to it on the calendar, the memorial for Senator Groff will be laid over until tomorrow. We'll do that first thing. So we're going to do yesterday's calendar, and then we'll go into today's calendar. Committees will jump straight to our Tuesday calendar. That's with the exception of Judiciary, which is going to hear 2 of the bills that they were scheduled to hear yesterday. Judiciary is meeting upon adjournment, so we're going to try to get through as much as we can of yesterday and today's calendar on seconds today. But if we get bogged down, then we'll lay things over so we can get to committee. And that's what you can look forward to today. Thank you, Mr. President.
With that, General Order, second reading of bills. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Roberts will take the chair.
The committee will come to order, and the coat rule is relaxed. And Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As we approach the second general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, would move that House Bill 1023 lay over to February 25th.
That is a motion. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. House Bill 1023 will lay over until February 25th. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1121 by Representative Becker J. and Senator Sonnenberg concerning agreements between landowners and wind energy developers and in connection therewith clarifying the rights and duties of parties of those agreements and the effects of recording an agreement in county land records. Senate Bill 102 by Senator Holbert and Representative Lee concerning the continuation of the Securities Board in connection therewith implementing the recommendations of the 2014 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Move the committee adopt the remaining bills on the general orders, second reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bill 1121 and Senate Bill 102, and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills on the consent calendar are adopted. Majority Leader Shuffle.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
I'm sorry. Not really. The Senate will come back to order. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
February 24, 2015, Mr. President, your committee of the whole basic reports under consideration of the following tax bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 102 passed on second reading in order to gross place on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1121 passed on second reading in order to revise place on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1023 laid over until February 25, 2015, retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
Is there further discussion on the committee of the whole report? Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 15-102 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1121 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1023 laid over until February 25th and retaining its place on the calendar. General Order, second reading of bills. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for the consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for the consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills. Senator Roberts will take the chair.
The committee will come to order, and the court rule is again relaxed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1021?
House Bill 1021 by Representative Willett and Senator Merrifield concerning statutorily established time periods that are multiples of 7 days.
Senator Merrifield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1021. There is no committee report.
Okay.
Do I have to?
Jumping ahead, Senator Stedman. Is there any further discussion? Why don't you talk about the bill? Senator Merrifield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we've heard variations of this bill in the past, and I had the honor of carrying it this year. So this bill changes the time periods and certain court dates so that everything falls on a 7-day period, multiples of 7 so that it doesn't fall on the weekends, and our constituents are not given the frustration of not being able to appear at their own court dates. So I would ask for the approval of House Bill 1021.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1021. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is passed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 87?
Senate Bill 87 by Senator Newell and Representative Singer concerning the safe placement of children in foster care homes.
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 87 and the Health and Human Services report and the Judiciary Committee report.
Thank you. To the Health and Human Services Committee report first, please.
Thank you. Members, I would have put this bill on consent calendar if I didn't have another amendment today. In Health and Human Services, we had a strike below. It is an extraordinarily complex bill because of how it's aligning statutes. And so it was addressing all of the concerns and technical amendments. We put it all into one, and it passed out of Health and Human Services unanimously, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion of the Health and Human Services Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Senator Newell to the Judiciary Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, in Judiciary, we had a couple more technical amendments that were again aligning from statute to statute, and it passed out of Judiciary unanimously as well, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion of the Judiciary Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Judiciary report is adopted. Senator Newell to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, last summer there was an investigative report through Channel 7 that uncovered that there were kiddos that were going into homes of foster care homes that had not had background checks of those parents and or those relatives. So what came out of that was that there was an internal audit of the Department of Human Services as a result of that investigative report, and they discovered that there were quite a few counties, not only Denver, but there were quite a few counties across the state that had problems with getting the required background checks conducted. In Denver, for instance, it was only 53% of the time that they had an accurate and complete background check done on all of those homes. And in some counties, they were doing it very well and were 100% compliant. In some counties, it was as low as 12% compliance. So we got together, a few of us with the State Department of Human Services, and we put together this bill to codify what is current practice, allegedly, and make sure that it was consistent across all the various areas of the statute. In licensing of foster care homes, in emergency placement, for instance, within the Children's Code. So basically, that's what this bill does. It just aligns all of it, and it also adds the sex offender sex offender registry list, and aligns all the types of care, and then aligns between the licensing statute and the Children's Code. It did pass out of both Judiciary and Health and Human Services unanimously. And Madam Chair, I do have two more amendments, if I may.
Please. So there is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Majors, would you please read Amendment 17? Please read Amendment 17.
Amendment L017 to Senate Bill 87 by Senator Newell, amend the Health and Human Services
Senator
Committee report
Newell.
dated February.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amendment 17 it amends the Health and Human Services Committee report, and these are, again, technical changes to make it consistent throughout the bill. This portion of the committee report refers to checking the state and the national sex offender registries for applicants who are certified to operate a foster care home. It also needs to refer to the checking the names and addresses of the sex offender registries for the operator's employees and for adults who reside at the foster care home. The other change is to correct a reference on page 8 that should refer to kinship foster care, and that's what Amendment 17 does, and I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Newell, could you move the amendment?
That might be a good idea, Madam Chair. I move Amendment 17.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment 17. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Amendment 17 is adopted. Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Max, would you, sorry, Mr. Majors, there is another amendment on the desk. Would you please read Amendment L018?
Amendment L018 to Senate Bill 87 by Senator Newell, amend the Judiciary Committee report dated February 18,
Senator
2015.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment 18. And members, this amends the Judiciary Committee report. And this is with emergency placement of children with a relative. And it requires that local law enforcement to perform initial criminal history record checks of relatives, that they would immediately give to, through most likely verbal responses, the results to the counties, so that if the counties are going to be asked to do all of this immediately, then the law enforcement needs to help them along the way. And both the counties and law enforcement agreed to this. And then it also, some county departments have the mobile fingerprint machines. And this allows the county departments that have that to use those. It saves time, and it allows the relatives to not have to go to a second place to have a background fingerprint check.
Is there any further? Sorry,
Thank you.
Senator Newell, did you have more to add?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, it just clarifies non-certified, the term non-certified kinship care as well.
Is there any further discussion of Amendment 18? Senator Newell. Neville. Neville Newell.
Neville Newell. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question for Senator Newell. Was there a reason that this was not put in while you were in committee?
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Every single committee I've been to, we've had amendments on this bill because it's so complex, Senator Neville, and we agreed there's been no opposition to the bill at any point. It's just very complex and a lot of moving pieces between areas of statute. So we have not put anything in this bill at any committee that hasn't been agreed upon by all of the stakeholders and the legislators who've been on those committees. So I would ask that you trust me on this.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment 18? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment 18. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. To the bill, Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I asked for an aye vote. This has been difficult and complex, but on the other hand, unanimous every step of the way, and we would anticipate that throughout the rest of the process, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 87. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is passed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1047?
House Bill 1047 by Representatives Lawrence and Becker Kay and Senators Grantham and Neville concerning a prohibition on the use of simulated gambling devices.
Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1047 and the associated Finance Committee report.
To the committee report.
Colleagues, I will ask for a no vote on the committee report. This this actually added in a date for where this is effective, extending it out to January 1st, 2016. I would ask for a no vote on that. This bill is defining what the illegal and verifying and confirming what the illegal versus illegal activity is in regards to sweepstakes and gambling. And to call it in one hand legal in the bill and illegal in another part of the bill is only confusing the language and confusing the intent. I would ask for a no vote on the committee report.
Is there any further discussion on the Finance Committee report? Senator Neville. It's sticking.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I concur with Senator Grantham. We had a lot of discussion on this regarding what is actually a sweepstake and what is not. And definitely, this does not fall under a sweepstake. And we're actually putting people in a very gray area to operate. And I agree that we need to move forward on the bill without the amendment, and also request that we reject the committee report.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm going to ask that we keep the committee report. And this is why. We had testimony, and I want to be clear on this. I support this bill. I supported the concept of this bill when we heard it, or when it was going through the process last year. I've been a yes vote in supporter of this bill. But I think we need to slow it down just a little bit. And the reason why is that in the Finance Committee, the in fact, the only person that came in to testify against the bill was an owner of one of these sweepstake cafes. And we asked her some questions about it. I don't think any of us that were hearing the bill had ever been in one of these sweepstake cafes. And so we didn't know too much about their business model and their history and all of that. As she was testifying, she came out and said that her husband had gone to one of these sweepstake cafes in Aurora, thought it looked like an interesting business. They live in Denver, and they came back to Denver and, in my opinion, did their due diligence. They called the Secretary of State. At that time, I believe the Secretary of State was Scott Gessler, so I just want to make sure we're getting a timestamp on this. But they called the Secretary of State's office, which, as we all know, oversees businesses, and also they called the City of Denver. And they received assurances from both the City of Denver and the Secretary of State that this business model was okay for them to open. So both a state entity and the city entity that oversee and regulate businesses gave them the okay to pour their life savings into opening this business. So I agree with the other testimony we've heard that these businesses don't fit under our laws, but at the same time, they went out of their way before they invested their money into this business. They asked a state and city entity if this would be okay for them to open up this business, and they were told yes. So I think it's extremely wrong of us at this time to say, well, another part of the state, the Attorney General and the legislature and the governor, have come in and shut your business down immediately upon signature of the bill. I think the amendment we put in, which gives an 8-month winding down period for these businesses, makes sense. So with that, I'd ask you to not reject the committee report. please keep the amendment and the winding down period for these people that did do their due diligence, asked if they could open and keep open or to start this business up and not put them out of business right away after doing their due diligence. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion of the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The noes have it, and the report is lost. To the bill, Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will ask for a yes vote on this bill. Colleagues, we are in a unique situation with what's going on here with this bill. The second bite of the apple trying this with what happened last year. And we will, with this bill, we'll be seeing what, when we have actions coming in conflict with what our state constitution requires, what it mandates in regard to limited gaming, and where that is allowed to take place and how that is allowed to take place. We have several businesses that have cropped up over the last several years that have called themselves sweepstakes cafes. And their operation is in direct conflict with what we see in our state constitution as far as the allowance of gambling in certain locations, limited gaming. Our Constitution, the people of this state, the voters of this state, have spoken and said, we will allow it. But we will allow it in 3 locales, in Cripple Creek, in Black Hawk, and in Central City. And what we have right now is these cafes operating all over the state, unlicensed, unregulated, and outside of the current scope of what is allowed in our Constitution. The findings by the Attorney General's office last year, written in a brief on October 9th, 2014, detail the problem with the existence and the current operations of these cafes in relation to current law, in relation to current judicial decisions, and in relation to our Constitution. And their finding is that these are operating outside of our Constitution. And that was our Attorney General that had those findings. This bill is simply a clarification within statute of those findings and making it very clear, making the line very bright as to what is allowed and what is not according to those findings. So I would ask for a yes vote on this bill, and thank you.
Senator Neville, did you want to add anything?
Madam Chair, actually, Senator Grantham did an excellent job of summing up the need for the bill, the focus of the bill, what it's attempting to do. So it has bipartisan support. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I wasn't going to speak on this, but it's raised the question, if it's already illegal, why isn't the Attorney General doing something rather than writing an opinion? I would urge you to be careful not to shut down businesses just because we think we need to have another bill to substantiate what the Attorney General should be doing. I will be a no on the bill. I would ask you to consider, before you do this, after they've gone through their due diligence, I would ask you to consider what we are doing and what our role is in this matter.
Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In response to that, folks, we do have the Attorney General doing something. They did write this brief. It was distributed down to the individual DAs, and at least one of the DAs in particular took it upon themselves to actually enforce this action. And several of those did stop operating, but one, in fact, did not, in defiance of all this. And so we still have those acting in defiance of the very clear record that we already have. And so we need to further give clarity to this in statute so that those that are continue to operate outside of the law and outside of the Constitution will have a very clear message as to what is permissible and what is not. And this does that, and will set that line very bright and very clear. That's for an aye vote.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do rise in support of the bill and ask for an aye vote. Having served in the House last year, there was similar legislation, and this question was asked. And at that time, I suggested that maybe there ought to be some sort of a delay, 90 days, 180 days, in order to allow these business owners time to extract themselves from a business that was going to be obsolete in these locations. For me, that was 12 months ago. For some reason, that bill did not proceed through the process last year, and I'm not here to question why. But for us to look at this bill as being sudden, taking away an opportunity, giving conflicting message, that's true. There are conflicting messages, but one of those messages was clearly stated out of the House 12 months ago, thereabouts, that this was illegal behavior, illegal activity in Colorado. We have the Attorney General's decision now, and I ask for an aye vote, and let's put this to rest once and for all.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1041. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. And it's 1047, not 1041, my mistake. House Bill 1047 passes. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 104?
Senate Bill 104 by Senator Holbert and Representative Lee concerning the continuation of the Colorado Division of Securities and in connection therewith implementing the recommendations of the 2014 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 104. There is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier, we had Senate Bill 102 that is the sunset of the Colorado Division of Securities Board. This now, a companion bill, Senate Bill 104, is the sunset of the Division of Securities itself. There is no committee report. Passed unanimously. Ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion of Senate Bill 104? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 104. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is passed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 106?
Senate Bill 106 by Senator Woods and Representative Arndt concerning the continuation of the regulatory authority granted under the Barber and Cosmetologist Act and in connection with continuing the Cosmetology Advisory Committee and implementing the other recommendations of the Department of Regulatory Agencies as contained in the 2014 Sunset Report.
Senator Woods.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, this is the bill that comes from the sunset on, I move Senate Bill 106, and the committee report and ask for an aye vote. Finance Committee report and ask for an aye vote. Can I start over, Madam Chair?
Let's talk about the Finance Committee report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had an amendment in the Finance Committee just to change the number of people that would serve on the advisory committee, moving it from 5 to 6. These were friendly amendments with agreement between the department and the sponsor, and so we ask for an aye vote on the Finance Committee report.
Is there any further discussion of the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the Appropriations Committee report. Senator Woods.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the Appropriations Committee report and ask for an aye vote.
And would you please describe what happened?
The Appropriations Committee report was just literally adding the appropriation to the bill.
Is there any further discussion of the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the Appropriations Committee report is adopted. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 106 and ask for an aye vote. This is the bill that flows from the sunset process on the Barber and Cosmetology Act, and as you have seen, it's moved through the committees with unanimous support, and I'd ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion of Senate Bill 106? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 106. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, and the bill is passed.
Thank you.
Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 121?
Senate Bill 121 by Senator Crowder and Representative Dorr concerning the eligibility for financing provided by the Colorado Water Resources Power Development Authority of a public water system that is not owned by a governmental agency.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 15121, committee report, the appropriations.
Senator Crowder, I don't think there are any committee reports. So would you like to speak to the bill?
My mistake. I moved right to the bill. I move forward SB 15121.
Go ahead, Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, this is a very simple bill. What it does, the EPA will come out and set standards on our water, or drinking water, but there are some entities that do not have the ability to obtain funds to correct that water situation. All this bill does is create a situation where that authority is extended to any entity that has X amount of water users that is also a nonprofit, and that's really how simple this is. It just due to what the EPA puts forward, it just it includes all water users and companies. And with that, Madam Chair, I just would ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion of Senate Bill 121? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 121. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the bill is passed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1029?
House Bill 1029 by Representatives Buck and Janal and Senators Cafalas and Martinez-Jimenez concerning coverage under a health benefit plan for healthcare services delivered through telehealth in any area of the state.
I'm looking for Senator Cafalas. Senator Cafalas and Senator Martinez-Jimenez. Chop, chop. Senator Cafalas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1029 and the Health and Human Services Committee report.
Thank you, Senator Cafalas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the Health and Human Services Committee, we basically, on February 19th, we added an amendment which added the words appropriate or when a covered person chooses not to receive care through telehealth. So basically what this has to do with is it's adding that language to page 3. Nothing in this section requires the use of telehealth when a provider determines that delivery of care through telehealth is not appropriate or when a covered person chooses not to receive care through telehealth. That is the amendment, and we ask for your support.
Is there any further discussion of the Health and Human Services Committee report? Senator Lundberg.
No.
Okay. So the motion before the body is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor say aye. You go ahead. Hello.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Okay, the ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill. Senator Cafalas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, colleagues. Sorry for the rough start there. Basically, House Bill 1029 does 3 things, and the overall goal is to expand the use of telehealth throughout the state of Colorado. Number 1, it eliminates, right now in current law regarding telehealth, the use of telehealth, it says that in a location or in a county where there's a population of 150,000, that that there's a requirement to provide telehealth if it makes sense. So we're eliminating the 150,000 population requirement. We're also We're also saying that the provider, the practitioner, is the one that determines whether or not telehealth is appropriate to be used. And with the amendment that we passed in HHS, we're also saying that there's obviously patient choice in the matter. And then the third thing that House Bill 1029 does is to make sure that the reimbursement for the telehealth care services are equivalent to the health care coverage reimbursement if it's an in-person care. And that's basically what House Bill 1029 does.
Thank you. Senator Martinez-Humenic, would you like to add anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Telehealth is actually going to cover a wider range of services for folks across the state. While we realize that there may be some challenges with some areas, this is the first step in getting a wider range of health care available to patients throughout the state when they don't have doctors accessible to them. Also, mental health care they can do by video rather than having somebody come. So I urge you to support House Bill 1029 and ask for an aye vote.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, if you look at the committee report, you'll discover that there was one no vote on this bill. It was mine. I want to explain why. Because I am a strong supporter of the use of telemedicine. I believe it's a technical reality that the medical community has embraced most appropriately, and I have supported all the legislation that was not a roadblock to the use of telemedicine because it is an important, significant delivery system for medical services. It's not a replacement for face-to-face contact with a doctor or some other medical provider, but a change was made in the House, and if you look at the original title to this bill, it's concerning telemedicine. Well, they changed it to telehealth. I believe words mean something, and the word health is a much broader category, and their argument is, well, we want to encompass everything. Well, fine, but, and this is the concern I have, is when we move from the word medicine to the word health, we are actually conveying a much greater sense of what the provider's responsibility is towards the individual. Now, I recognize that my vote probably won't influence the outcome of this bill, and I find that unfortunate because I do believe that words mean something, and in this case, the word health is far too broad a category for medical providers. I will continue to resist the use of the word health in replacement of the word medicine. Health is a very important term. It's a very important concept. It's something that you need to embrace for yourself, for your family. But when we start telling the professional that it's their job to look after our health, I believe that they've crossed a line. They are the providers of the medical care, of those interventions that are appropriate and necessary to maintain one's health. But I do not support the expansion, and I find it even curious that the bill that was originally titled telemedicine, now in midstream, we switch it over to telehealth. Hence, I'm a no vote. That is my reason why, and I ask that the debate continue. Thank you.
So Senator Kefauver had his hand up first, and then Senator Martinez-Humenic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate the comments from the good senator from Berthoud. I just wanted to explain that the change from telemedicine to telehealth was something that was done in the House. There was a lot of deliberation, and basically there are various definitions in statute regarding telehealth as well as telemedicine, and by changing it to telehealth, we're essentially making this tool available. It's just a tool available to more practitioners. Had we kept it at telemedicine, then the only ones who could use the telehealth or this tool were licensed physicians. And by expanding it, we're now allowing for advanced practice nurses and other practitioners to be able to use the tool. And that was the intent, and that was the discussion.
Senator Martinez-Humenic.
Colleagues, I'd like to give you the definition of telehealth. It's the use of electronic information and telecom technologies to support long-distance clinical care, patient and professional health-related education, public health, and health administration. In a lot of our rural areas and mountain communities, the patients in those locations have to drive for miles before they're actually able to see a medical practitioner. This is not in place of seeing a medical practitioner. This is in conjunction with, so that if, say, for example, doctors can do remote seeing of patients, seniors in their homes, rather than having them have to get out into the weather. It also allows for psychologists to do video appointments with young children in the safety of their homes. So this actually, going from telemedicine to telehealth, offers a wider range and more full integration of health care for the citizens in the state of Colorado. So I would urge an aye vote.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I will try to gracefully disagree with my colleagues and tell you it just ain't so. That medicine is a terminology that has been utilized for decades for a variety of providers, and the statement that if we didn't do this, it would only be available for use by medical doctors just ain't so. As a matter of fact, we ran a bill several years ago. I was the sponsor. I was the House sponsor, so that was several years ago, authorizing Medicaid recipients to receive psychiatric care via telemedicine and psychological care. It was actually a broad enough terminology, and it was called telemedicine. We have done this for many, many years. No, this is a subtle but not so subtle change that broadens the whole category of the medical services providers to a larger arena in life than I believe is necessary. And we can respectfully disagree, but I'm going to correct it when a statement is made that therefore only doctors can be providing the service via electronic communication. That is not the case. This is a move that's at a different level than simply allowing medical doctors or a broader category. That broader category has already been in practical use for the term telemedicine for many, many years. So, you know, vote as you see appropriate, but for me it's still a no vote.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in support of this bill. I think it's a great bill. You know, telehealth has come a long way since its inception, and I think, and I've seen, actually I've been to demonstration and I've actually been using it under VA healthcare. But I think it's just an amazing situation where it moves healthcare forward to the point where it's, you know, the technology is in place that the doctor's right there with you. So I'm very much in favor of this bill, and you know, I would ask for your aye vote on it. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1029. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. The ayes have it, and the bill passes.
Just like old times, Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Majority Leader Shuffle.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
I need to talk to you some point before we walk off the floor.
Mark, we're ready to go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
The Senate will come back to order. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
February 24, 2015, Mr. President, your committee, the whole basic report is under consideration. The following tax bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 87 is amended. Senate Bill 104, Senate Bill 106 is amended. Senate Bill 121 passed on second reading in order to gross place the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1021, House Bill 1047, House Bill 1029 as amended passed on second reading in order to revise place the counter for third reading and final passage.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
Is there further discussion on the Committee of the Whole report? I believe I see an amendment. Mr. Majors, would you please read Amendment 1 to the Committee of the Whole report?
Committee of the Whole Amendment 1 to House Bill 1047. Senator Kerr moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to show that the Finance Committee report Committee amendment to House Bill 1047 did pass and that House Bill 1047 as amended did pass.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Kerr amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. We discussed this potential amendment a few minutes ago, and the point that I'm trying to reiterate here is that people who poured their life savings into setting up their own small business, and not only is it the money that they make to actually operate the business and support their families, but they did their due diligence. They actually contacted not only the Secretary of State, Scott Gessler's office, but they also contacted departments in the city of Denver, and they also did ask for legal opinions from lawyers that they had hired as well. Is this business model legal in Colorado? And I think the first answer to that I've seen from almost everyone, it's interesting. Some people saying that it's obviously, there's a bright line, it's obviously illegal already, yet we have state and city entities assuring these people that they could set it up. And then you also have lawyers who have opined in that it is legal. That's the purpose of the bill. The bill is to draw that bright line in these cases. And I agree with the Attorney General's opinion. I agree with just about everything that's in this bill. But again, we have these small businesses, people who set up their small business and did so with due diligence. They asked the state, they asked the city, is this business legal? And if we pass this bill without this amendment, without voting yes on this Committee of the Whole amendment, we are going to be shutting down people who set up a small business and did their due diligence ahead of time. And I've heard from everyone, are there some bad actors out there? Probably. Again, I haven't been to any of these businesses, but I have heard the debate, and I think it's important that we give a little bit of time to the people who did their due diligence in setting up their business, which supports their families. We need to give them a little time to wind down and move on to something else. With that, I ask for your support of this amendment.
Is there further discussion? Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for a no vote on this, colleagues. We are, on one hand, drawing that bright, clear line, saying, along with the Attorney General and with what the Constitution plainly says, saying this is illegal activity. Then on the other hand, saying, but it's okay to conduct yourself in that business for an extended period of time. This is a conflicting message within the bill. I ask for a no vote.
Is there further discussion on the Committee of the Whole amendment? Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask for an aye vote on this Committee of the Whole report. I was in committee for this debate as well, and if people are interested in the debate, I'm happy to talk you through what we learned in Finance Committee. I will just say, when you look at the distinctions between what is allowed currently under state law between $1 million sweepstakes at McDonald's and your regular gambling at Dave & Buster's and your church hall bingo parlor and your sweepstakes organization run by these entities, I was surprised on committee by just how gray some of these lines are. And so I think that, there are certainly folks that manipulate the strategies here to try to give 12 or 18-month wind downs, when in reality those wind downs are just saying, let's come back next legislative session and try and redebate this all over again. I think that what's proposed here is not that. It's saying we definitively believe this is illegal. It should be stated clearly by the legislature that it's illegal, even though the Attorney General has already said so. But you have folks that are in the middle of a year-long lease, again, with reliance on state support to do that, that I think there is, there was a safety clause on this bill originally. I think in the 5 years I've been here, I don't know if I've run one bill that doesn't, that has a safety clause to say this is so urgent that you can't even wait the 60 days. It's hard to me to see what the damage is for someone who's playing a $5 to $8 sweepstakes game over the next 6 months that requires the state to put in a safety clause. So I think that the only folks we heard testify in favor of this were our friends in the casinos, and I think they're understandably want to keep this legal and where it's been constitutionally approved. I don't see there's real damage to that industry by allowing these 20 or 30 organizations to wind down in 6 months. And so I think this is the right step. These businesses should be illegal and we should declare them as such, but I think we should, since they relied on state interpretation in the past, they should have time to wind down. So I'd ask for an aye vote on the amendment.
Further discussion on the Kerr amendment? Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also urge a yes vote on the Kerr amendment. Members, it's not clear. It's not clear whether this is constitutional or not. We have an opinion from the Attorney General. If it was clear, there'd have been prosecution, there'd have been people going after to stop these businesses. Since it's not clear, and I prefer that we don't have the bill, but that doesn't seem an option. So if we're going to pass a bill, let's at least give them time after they've done their due diligence, after they've done what they needed to do to set up a business, instead of the legislature coming in and say, you're closing, and you're closing. Let's say, look, we understand that there may be some issues here. We're going to give you a little time to close down before we make sure this all goes away. Remember, I asked you to vote yes on the cow.
Further discussion on the Committee of the Whole amendment? Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in support of this because as a former small business owner, I know what it will do to these businesses if they are automatically going to have to shut down, and particularly since the law is not really very clear. It's moving in a direction, and I affirm what my colleagues are doing with this bill, but let's give our small businesses an opportunity to finish their work. You know, they're going to have to pay salaries, they're going to have to pay to shut down their businesses, and this is a way to support these businesses who by every means just knew or thought that they were in perfect legal place with the codes of this state in terms of running a business. So I support it. Let's help these folks maintain a stable economy within their business, at least until they're shut down. Thank you. I support it.
Is there further discussion on the amendment? Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. President. I urge a no vote on the amendment. What we have here are basically internet slot machines. Now, we've gone through constitutionally, and we've actually supported slot machines being utilized in 3 towns in Colorado. We didn't authorize them being utilized across the state. These businesses have an opportunity to seek protection under the Constitution, the same as other people have done in the past, put it up a referendum or however they would like. But frankly, right now, what they're doing is operating an illegal gambling operation, and if we proceed to give them more time, my concern is not just about shutting down these facilities, but my concern is anytime we set a precedent where we allow a facility or an illegal activity to continue operating, we actually muddy the waters quite a bit, and I'd like the legislature and, of course, the Senate to consider that too. I think we should be very clear in our intent here, so I urge a no on this amendment.
Is there further discussion on the amendment? Senator Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to clarify, I would ask for a no vote on the amendment as well. We're not shutting down businesses in toto. What we're doing is shutting down the illegal portion of the business. The businesses, if they're doing legal, they'll be allowed to continue. What we're doing is shutting down strictly the illegal portion, and so would ask for a no vote on the cow.
Minority Leader Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I think the clarification I would make is that this bill is shutting down some illegal businesses and, frankly, some legal businesses. When you get into the cases that have interpreted the sweepstakes laws, what is being left out of this discussion is right now it hinges on whether or not is their primary purpose. So within this bill, there are some businesses where this has been their primary purpose, and arguably those are illegal today and would remain illegal after the bill. However, the real challenge of this bill is that it has swept more broadly than current case law. It has eroded the difference between whether or not it is somebody's primary or incidental to their business. There are current lawful businesses that are lawfully using this incidentally to their business, and those folks under current case law and under the Constitution are operating a lawful business. So if we pass this bill, those folks are getting shut down too. It is a modest suggestion to give them time to wind down and make an alternative business plan. They relied on agents of the state of Colorado. They put their livelihood and their money. And so for those lawful businesses that are now getting defined out of existence, I think it is a modest and reasonable step to give them more time to decide what to do with their investment and their livelihood as the legislature decides where it wants to weigh down on that. But I want to be clear, right now, some of these businesses are lawful. And those are the businesses that we want to protect as they make different financial decisions for themselves as a result of the legislative action. And so I, too, support Committee of the Whole Amendment 1.
Is there further discussion on Committee of the Whole Amendment 1? Are there any no votes? Majority Leader Scheffel. Senator Baumgardner. Senator Scott. Senator Woods. Senator Lambert. Senator Stedman. Senator Donovan. Senator Grantham, Senator Neville, Senator Cook, Senator Garcia, Senator Crowder, Senator Holbert, Senator Balmer, Senator Hill, Senator Roberts. Please include the President. Senator Lundberg, Senator Jones. Are there any no votes on the Committee of the Whole Amendment 1? Further no votes. With 14 ayes, 19 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, that amendment fails. Further discussion on the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Consideration of resolutions consent calendar. Mr. Majors, please read the title. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Belay that. Just the latest one? Okay. Senate Bill 1587 as amended, Senate Bill 15104, Senate Bill 15106 as amended, Senate Bill 15121 passed on second reading and ordered and engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 151021, House Bill 151047, House Bill 151029 as amended passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Majority Leader Shuffle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move that the Senate lay over the consideration of resolutions consent calendar, which includes Senate Joint Resolution 008 to February 25th.
Is there further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Senate Joint Resolution 8 will be laid over until February 25th. Consideration of memorials. Majority Leader Shuffle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the consideration of memorials, which includes Senate Memorial 1, lay over to February 25th.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Senate Memorial 1 will lay over until February 25th. Consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title of the appointments on the consent calendar?
Members of the State Board of Parole for terms expiring July 1st, 2017. Denise K. Balazak of Aurora, Colorado, serves as a parole or probation representative, reappointed. Alfredo Enrique Pena of Denver, Colorado, serves as a citizen representative, reappointed. Executive Director of the Department of Public Safety, effective June 16, 2014, for a term expiring at the pleasure of the Governor. Stanley Allen Hilke of Palisade, Colorado, and occasioned by the resignation of James H. Davis of Westminster, Colorado, appointed. Member of the Juvenile Parole Board for a term expiring November 15, 2018. Dennis Raymond Desperoy of Denver, Colorado, serves as a representative from the Colorado Department of Human Services, and occasioned by the resignation of Daniel L. Casey of Thornton, Colorado, appointed. Members of the Board of Assessment Appeals for terms expiring July 1st, 2015. Sandra Winterhoff Mercer of Westminster, Colorado, appointed. Mary Kay Kelly of Silverthorne, Colorado, reappointed. And Louisa Maricel of Denver, Colorado, reappointed. Greg A. Neer of Lakewood, Colorado, reappointed. Members of the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors for terms expiring June 1st, 2018. Jamie Greenman of Alamosa, Colorado, representative of the destination marketing industry, appointed. Robert Stinchcomb of Lafayette, Colorado, serves as an at-large member from tourism-based industries, reappointed. Ian Stein of Larkspur, Colorado, representative of other outdoor recreation industries, reappointed. Members of the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System for terms expiring December 31st, 2018. Mark Allen Gustafson of Windsor, Colorado, serves as a member who has substantial experience in the production of agriculture and to serve as a Republican, reappointed. Dennis Eugene Flores of Pueblo, Colorado, serves as a Democrat, reappointed.
Is there any Majority Leader Shuffle?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate confirm all of the appointments listed on the consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar, including members of the State Board of Parole, the Executive Director of the Department of Public Safety, the member of the Juvenile Parole Board, the members of the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors, and the members of the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System. And the members of the Board of Assessment Appeals.
Is there any discussion on any of the appointments on any of the boards on the consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar? Are there any no votes on any of the appointments? With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, State Board of Parole, Dennis K. Balazak and Alfredo Enrique Pena are confirmed. With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, the Executive Director of the Department of Public Safety, Stanley Allen Hilke, is confirmed. With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Dennis Raymond Desparios is confirmed the Juvenile Parole Board. With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Sandra Winterhoff Mercier, Mary Kay Kelly, Ann Louisa Miracle, and Greg A. Neer are confirmed on the Board of Assessment and Appeals. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Jamie Greenman, Robert Stinkholm, and Ian Stein are confirmed to the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Mark Allen Gustafson and Denise Eugene Flores are confirmed to the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System. Committee reports.
February 18, 2015, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 110 be amended as follows and asked so amended before the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation.
Before we proceed to announcements, let's welcome, if she can hear us. She may have stepped up. Is she gone? She left? Well, Senator Williams, this was for you. Welcome back, wherever you are. That will be recorded in infamy. Further announcements. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to remind everybody that the Colorado Timber Industry Association is holding their reception tonight over at the City Grill starting at 5 o'clock. Hope you can be there. Thanks.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, colleagues. Thank you for acknowledging my predecessor, Senator Williams. And I have 2 announcements on your desks. I believe you all received a little flyer, cute little cartoon that is focusing on preparing students for career success. And so we want to make sure that you have that on your calendar for Thursday. And also Thursday is the CASB lunch at the Brown Palace. So mark your calendar for a busy rest of the week.
Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also wanted to give you a heads up for tomorrow evening. There is a reception by the folks that move America. Those guys that move your products and my products across the country so we can have access to those whatever we want, whenever we want. The Colorado Motor Carriers Association, those truckers, are having their reception tomorrow night at the University Club from 5 to 7. I would urge you to drop by and have some fun with some of the stuff they're providing that trucks brought in. Thank you.
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to introduce the Senate to my stepdaughter, Lizzie Prisgoda. She came down here to shadow me this morning for a school project. She's a senior at University High School in Greeley, and she wants, oddly enough, picked a great day, wants to be a nurse, but she leaves tomorrow for Omaha for her physical for the Army Reserves, where she will be going into the medical field and EMT or paramedic, and then got accepted to Texas Tech and using the benefits from the Army Reserve to pay for the tuition. So again, my stepdaughter Lizzie Prisgoda.
Congratulations, you picked the best branch. Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, Colorado is the state of craft beer, and today is Craft Brewers Day at the Capitol. There'll be a reception this evening at 5 o'clock at Lost Highway Brewery, that's just east of the Capitol on Colfax. So stop by and see some small business people who are producing some incredible beer. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And Colorado, again, is the state of craft beer. Stop by and visit with them.
Senator Lambert.
Thank you. Members of the Joint Budget Committee will be meeting with some of the Friends of Fort Logan at 2 o'clock. You're all welcome to come to that if you'd like to meet some of their representatives. And we will be continuing figure setting on Department of Public Health and Environment immediately thereafter.
Majority Leader Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just a reminder, colleagues, Judiciary will be meeting upon adjournment. They will not be hearing Senate Bill 175. They will be hearing House Bills 1034 and 1064. Other committees will meet as scheduled in the calendar. They will begin at 2 p.m. Mr. President, move the Senate adjourn to 9 a.m. Wednesday, February 25th.
Further discussion? Do we need a moment of clarity? Any volunteers? Is there a
President, Senatorial 5.
Majority Leader Shuffle. We will stand as Senatorial 2. The Senate will come to order. Majority Leader Shuffle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the Senate adjourn to 9 a.m. Wednesday, February 25th.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will stand adjourned till 9 a.m. Wednesday, February 25th.